questions like this. For example, what the enemies of the Holy Prophet were seeking, and what was their purpose? And what would the Holy Prophet lose if he surrendered himself to his enemies? Or what would he give up if he want not to engage in these wars? So by answering these questions, I think it would be much more clear whether it was a justifiable and eligible war that the Holy Prophet, or those wars that the Holy Prophet participated in, or not. It's so important to think about and have these questions in mind, that whether the Holy Prophet was the one who initiated those wars or not, or these are the sets of questions that must be answered in order for the wars of the Holy Prophet to be clear. The other important thing is, or the point number 2, is that what was the Holy Prophet or the behavior of the troops of Islam in these wars? The commands of the Holy Prophet to the troops, the Muslim troops, Islam's troops, which was engaged in wars with enemies of Islam, what was or how was the conduct of these troops? How did they behave towards the enemies? This is so important again, because we see that there are, in the wars that we see nowadays or lately, the brutal behavior of the ones who fight in these wars cannot be acceptable. But when we refer to the wars of the Holy Prophet, or the wars that the Holy Prophet was engaged in, we see that the behavior they had, the behavior of the troops of Islam was so beautiful. Even though they were engaged in wars, but they tried their best to be as good people as they could. So this as well must be thought about. This is another question. In the commands of the Holy Prophet and the treatment of the POWs, the prisoners of war, how did the Holy Prophet treat the prisoners of war? And this is another case that must be taken into consideration so that we can understand the wars of the Holy Prophet, whether it was brutal, whether the Holy Prophet had a personality of a violent person or he did not. This is another important issue to be discussed. And when we go actually to the history, we see that there are many indications with regard to the Holy Prophet being the most compassionate person at that time, rather indeed at the old times. So we see that he is the one who was the most lenient person towards his enemies. And inshallah, we will refer to the sources of history, and we will prove these facts. And the other points that must be referred to, or the other issue that must be tackled with regard to understanding or better understanding of the wars of the Holy Prophet, is to refer to the Holy Quran and to the traditions, to the hadith of the Holy Prophet, and see the conduct of the Holy Prophet not in wars but in all his life. How was the Holy Prophet, or how was the life of the Holy Prophet? How did he treat other people? And that is very beautiful as well. And I think that would be a very beautiful discussion, inshallah, if we reach to this point. And he was the most compassionate person at his time. And I repeat again this point, or even the most compassionate person ever. And that is another point. And actually, there are some other points that could be referred to that I hope I will have the tawfiq to talk about these points. I think that would be enough for this session. Inshallah, we will tackle each of these issues. The questions I posed and the question I referred to, and one by one we will inshallah answer these questions. And after all, inshallah, we will reach to this point, inshallah, that the Holy Prophet was not a violent person, rather he was the best human being ever, and he was the most compassionate human being, the most lenient one, and in one word, the best symbol of all humanistic virtues. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.